You know, we're always told that being popular is the ultimate goal, right? But what if that's completely wrong? Today, we're going to dig into a totally different idea, the surprising strength you can find by walking alone.
I mean, we all know the deal. We live in a world that's just constantly screaming one message at us.
And that message? It's an absolute obsession with popularity. I mean, it's everywhere you look, and it completely shapes how we see ourselves and how we see everybody else.
It's this constant stream of metrics, isn't it? How many followers? How many likes? Are you in the group photo? These are all supposed to be the signs that tell us, hey, you belong, or hey, you're valued. But is that really the whole story?
And that really brings us to the big question here. Are people with just a few friends somehow broken? Or, and this is the interesting part, could they actually be ahead of the game? Believe it or not, psychology is starting to suggest it might just be the second one.
Okay, so let's dive into this idea, the self-sovereign path. And let's get one thing straight right away. This is not about being antisocial, not at all. It's about tapping into a totally different and honestly a much more powerful kind of strength.
So what in the world does self-sovereign even mean? Well, it's pretty simple. It's that state where you just don't need constant company or someone else's approval to feel whole. It's a choice. It's choosing real, genuine peace over the performance of popularity. Okay, so how does this actually play out in real life? The very first key trait is all about developing your own inner compass. And what that really means is relying on internal validation.
Yeah, people who've got this figured out are internally validated. They've outgrown that need for an audience, you know? They don't need a round of applause to know what they're worth. Their sense of self, it comes from the inside.
And this quote, this really hits the nail on the head. For people walking this path, being alone isn't some kind of punishment. No way. It's a statement of integrity. They'd rather be alone than betray who they are just to fit in.
So once you have that inner strength, it helps you build what we can call the fortified self. And in this next part, we're going to look at two more traits that are all about building a life that's basically bulletproof against negativity. So the next trait, they tend to be deep thinkers. For them, solitude isn't some empty, boring void. It's a creative space. It's where they can journal or reflect or just go for a walk and process everything. For them, being alone actually fuels their creativity. And this right here is a really, really important distinction to make. On one hand, you've got antisocial, which is just rejecting people, period. But what we're talking about is being anti-surface level. That's rejecting shallow, totally draining connections. And that, my friends, is a huge difference.
The third trait that really strengthens you is having strong boundaries. So from this point of view, having only a few friends isn't some kind of social failure, it's a boundary win. It's a sign that you've successfully walked away from all the drama and the toxicity. And it all comes back to this one powerful idea. You just can't heal in the same place that broke you. That's why these boundaries aren't just, nice to have. They are absolutely essential for your well-being.
All right, this brings us to our last two traits, which I'm calling the evolution curve. This is all about perceiving the world on a much deeper level, and because of that, growing way faster.
So, trait number 4 is being hyperintuitive. These folks often have this finely tuned radar for energy. And we're not talking about being paranoid here. It's about having a heightened and usually very, very accurate perception of what's really going on. Seriously, they're like masters at reading the unspoken stuff. They can spot the fake smiles from a mile away, they can feel that unspoken tension in a room, they can sense that hidden resentment, and let's be real, when you can pick up on all of that, being alone can feel a heck of a lot safer than being in a draining crowd.
And the last trait, this is a big one. These individuals often find themselves evolving faster than the people around them. And this can be a really tough one, right? Because sure, some people lose friends because they're being toxic, but others, they lose them simply because they are changing, transforming on a fundamental level.
It's because growth creates distance. That's just a natural law of life. Not everyone's on the same journey, and not everyone can keep up. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. Sometimes outgrowing people is a necessary step to get closer to who you're really meant to be.
Okay, so let's wrap all of this up. We're calling this final thought your unwasted presence, because it really gets to the powerful truth at the very heart of this whole idea.
So if any of this, even a little bit, is resonating with you, I need you to hear this loud and clear. You are not hard to love.
What you are is hard to manipulate, and that is an incredible, incredible strength. It's the end result of all those traits we just talked about, that internal validation, those strong boundaries, that deep intuition.
And look, walking this path doesn't mean you're going to be alone forever. Not even close. It just means you're not wasting your presence in places where it isn't truly honored. It's all about quality, not quantity.
So that leaves us with one last question, something for you to think about. For those of you who walk this path, who find your strength in the quiet spaces, in your solitude, what have you found?